a realm of endless possibilities where everything you can imagine comes to life. This is the Dini Iverse. Let's dive in. Chapter 21. Wasteland. The dimensional hopper, normally a tidy little device when it wasn't throwing tantrums, had sparked like a fireworks display in a tin bucket and spat him out into hell. Not metaphorical hell, mind you, actual hell. New York City? Or the corpse of it? Bomb to fuck caked in ash, skies the colour of depression, and buildings leaning like hungover drunks. The sort of place even the cockroaches had decided wasn't worth the rent. Dean Prime groaned and rolled over in a crater filled with melted stop signs. Smoke curled from his shoulders. His coat was on fire. Again.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Of all the timelines, radioactive shithole's the one I land in?
The hopper lay beside him, fried and twitching like a dying wasp. Wires spilled out like spaghetti. One LED blinked half-heartedly and died. No getting out of here, not without help. And wouldn't you know it, help was about to come limping in. Sort of. A low groan. Something shuffles near out from the skeletal ruins staggered a ghoul, skin sloughing off like week old cheese, mouth open in a grin that said, "I'd like to chew your face, please." Dean Prime reached for a weapon. Nothing. Typical. Just as the thing lunged. Boom! Shotgun blast, skull matter splats. Its head disintegrated in a red mist. From the smoke stepped another man, grizzled, dust-covered, trench coat flapping in the wind like it had seen 100 battles and hated everyone. A cigarette smouldered in his mouth. His shotgun still smoked. He looked like Dean Prime, too much like him, because he was. This was Wasteland Dean, the version of Dean who'd survived nuclear fallout, radioactive rain, mutant wildlife, raiders, and God knows how many years of chewing rat jerky and moral ambiguity. He spat.
"You're welcome, partner."
Dean Prime blinked, then blinked again.
You're me, but older.
"And you look like someone had a posh wank and made a clone. Who the fuck are you?"
Dean Prime, from another timeline. Long story, alternate realities, busted device.
Dean Prime points at the hopper. Wasteland Dean didn't flinch, didn't blink. Just looked at him the way one might look at a strange dog sniffing near your lunch.
"You're in the fucking wasteland. Help's in short supply, a cough from behind, a crate comes in. It's wet and painful sounding, then a figure stumbled into view behind him. Thin, ghostly pale, eyes sunk in deep bruised hollows, hair matted with sweat. This was Martin, Wasteland Martin. He looked like death's understudy. He tried to speak, then coughed blood into his sleeve.
Need right away."
Wasteland Dean went to him immediately, supported him with quiet care, that tenderness, still there, even here, even now.
I know, Martin."
Dean Prime stepped forward.
Help me fix the hopper. I just need parts. You help me. I'll get it working, and I'll take you both out of this wasteland.
Wasteland Martin coughs weakly and looks up.
"The Brotherhood has tech, most likely what he needs."
Wasteland Dean looked down at Martin, shakes his head.
"Good luck with that. The Brotherhood's hoarding tech tighter than a diddy hoarding Johnson's baby oil. They've got bunkers. Big boys with fucking big suits of armor. Lasers. But if you're serious..."
Wasteland Dean sighed.
"Then you've got yourself a guide."
They walked in silence, boots crunching through powdered concrete and bones that had long since stopped being anyone. The wind moaned through ruined towers like it remembered music. Ash clung to their clothes like guilt. The sky was bruised and bloated, leaking radioactive light onto the wreckage of what used to be civilization. No one said a word, until they passed the gas station, with the melted corpse still sitting in a plastic chair, clutching a novelty mug that read, "Best Dad Ever."
Fucking hell, this place needs a drink.
Wasteland Dean snorted without humour.
"Had one once. Manhattan, rooftop bar." Martin ordered a strawberry daiquiri, then pretended it was for me when the waitress raised an eyebrow.
Martin coughed from behind, too weak to laugh, but the edge of his mouth twitched. They kept walking. Past sunken taxis, past playgrounds melted into horrorscapes. The only colour came from bloodstains too stubborn to fade. After a while, Dean Prime broke the quiet.
So, how bad was it when the bombs dropped?
Wasteland Dean didn't answer right away. He glanced at the sky, eyes distant, like the question had reached into his ribs and twisted something that never healed. He finally spoke.
"It was a Wednesday, I think. News started showing tremors in Europe, then silence. Whole countries just vanished off the air. We thought it was cyber shit, jamming. Then the alerts hit. Emergency broadcasts, red screen, no details.
No warning?
Not a proper one. Not one that mattered. Then the light came, like someone split the sky open and poured lava through it. Basement, steel door, a bit of luck. But surviving ain't living, not in this shithole.
Martin staggered, knees buckling. Wasteland Dean caught him, easing him down to a cracked bench.
Stop talking about it, D. Doesn't help.
Wasteland Dean offered him water from a repurposed bleach bottle. Martin drank, hands trembling like jelly.
Right, let's move.
The deeper they went, the quieter the world got. No birds, no insects, just the drip of ancient water and the hum of dead electricity. Dean Prime led the way now, hands clenched, eyes scanning. His gut twisted with something sour. Then he smelled it, before he heard it. Rot, old meat and old wine. The kind of stink that meant madness was nearby.
We're not alone.
Too late. A sound of echoing from a bottle being smashing. A cackling of laughter. The shadows burst open. Raiders. 5 at first, then 10. Covered in oil, chains, old Christmas tinsel. One wore a doll's head as a helmet. Another dragged a shopping trolley full of bones. And in the middle of them, the G. A human grease stain with a beard like a bird's nest dipped in gravy. Shirtless, belly flapping, arms wide. His eyes were glassy, wild, like they'd seen the end of the world and fancied it. "Well, well, well, 2 handsome fuckers and a dying angel. Is it my birthday?" Wasteland Dean didn't even blink. He just sighed.
You again. I thought you died in that sewage fire.
"I did. But Death and I have a kinky relationship." Martin coughed violently behind them, blood on his lips. Dean Prime stood in front of him, hands raised just slightly. Not surrender, just calculating. Dean Prime looks to Wasteland Dean.
What the hell is this?
This is the G short for Graham or gutter edger. Gulp it, take your pick.
The G with arms wide. "And you little lost lambs are about to be bottled." The G licks his teeth. "I'll sell you to the flesh market and buy so much skip wine I'll piss purple till doomsday."
Flesh market, skip wine. You're like if syphilis learned to talk.
"Ooh, sass. I love sass. Don't worry, I'll keep your tongue for soup." He snapped his fingers. Sounds of clattering, metallic footsteps. More raiders pour in. Chains, laughter, shrieking. 30 now, maybe more. One dragged a burned mannequin behind him on a leash. Another smeared lipstick onto a rat skull and blew it a kiss. And there, just behind the G, was Nathan. Young, twitchy, skin like wax paper dot hair cover in goo. His hoodie hung off him like a bin liner on a broomstick. His eyes were wide and empty, like someone had swapped out the soul for static.
Who the hell is that?
Nathan, bit of a nuisance. The G got to him, uses him as his cum blankie, but the G gives him what he needs. Drugs, promises, God knows what else. He keeps Nathan doped and broken, calls him his favorite pet.
Nathan giggled and licked a wall.
He hasn't been since Graham started keeping him close. You don't want to know the rest.
I think I do.
I said don't ask.
Why do I have an urge to kill him?
You're not the first. Everyone does.
"I'll drink your kneecaps. I'll French kiss your trauma."
Split, I take left, you climb, Martin crawls. Try not to die. I need you to get out of this shithole.
And then all hell snapped open. War drums of the apocalypse start playing. It grunts, it glass, it punches and has fire. Dean Prime dove behind a cracked pillar. No gun, just rage. He grabbed a broken pipe from the rubble and swung wide, cracking skulls like coconuts. Wasteland Dean surged forward, a shotgun roaring in his hands. A raider lunged. Wasteland Dean caught him mid-air and threw him into a wall hard enough to leave a smear. Martin dragged himself under a rusted railcart, coughing blood, eyes wide and glassy. The G spun through the fight like it was a rave. He smashed bottles, shrieked names that weren't his, and licked blood off a rusted spoon. "You bastards! You touched my wine! You touched my skip-flavoured dreams!" A Molotov flew, missed, lit up a pipe, flames danced across a leaking oil patch. Dean Prime ducked, swung the pipe into a raider's kneecap, and brought him down. Another charged. Dean Prime headbutted him so hard his skull cracked open like an egg. Wasteland Dean fired point-blank into a raider's chest, then spun, elbowed another in the throat, and kicked a third into fire. Martin groaned beneath the cart, still breathing. Then the G came too close. Dean Prime saw a broken wine bottle near the floor. He snatched it up, turned and smashed it across the G's face. The G screamed, but he was laughing too. "You hurt my face. I love that." Wasteland Dean cocks his shotgun.
You'll live, for now.
"I always do." The G vanished into the dark, leaving behind blood, laughter and the stench of rotting cheese. Nathan followed behind him. You haven't seen the last of me, Dean. I'll drink your bones and write poetry. Now come, Nathan, I have a load that's ready to blow. Silence returned, heavy and hot. Dean Prime helped Martin crawl from under the cart. Wasteland Dean leaned against a pipe, panting, face smeared with ash and blood.
You know, I was hoping for a quiet walk.
You're in the wrong apocalypse for that.
Tell me we're nearly there.
Wasteland Dean points down a tunnel.
Next stop, Blitz Crate. To see the Tutter, we ask questions. We don't touch anything without asking.
Why?
Because if you step on his stock, he'll blow your dick off.
Martin coughed again. Dean Prime caught him before he fell.
I liked that place. It was one of a kind.
The trio limped forward, broken, bloodied, but breathing. They'd survived the G-barely, but in the wasteland, that just meant tomorrow had permission to be worse. The tunnel spat them out into daylight again, or what passed for daylight in the wasteland. A permanent orange haze hung in the air, thick with smoke and dust. Ahead stood Blitz Crate, a ramshackle fortress of shopping cages, rusted scaffolding and welded supermarket trolleys. The walls were jagged, patched together with co-op cages stacked 3 stories high. Every gap was stuffed with barbed wire or broken glass. Guards lounged on platforms with makeshift rifles, watching the road with dead eyes. Inside, the air was louder. Traders shouting, generators coughing, dogs fighting in the mud. A hive of survivors who had decided to stop running and start rotting in one place. Dean Prime wrinkled his nose.
Christ, smells like a pub carpet in here.
Martin coughed violently, blood flecking his lips. Wasteland Dean grabbed his arm.
You good, Martin?
Martin weak but smiling faintly.
Well, I'm holding into as good as I can, my love.
I'll see if we can get some Radfix. Might ease the sickness. Buy you some time.
Dean Prime glanced around at the chaos. Screaming merchants, kids fighting over a dead rat, a man pissing into an old cereal box.
So why the hell are we in this shithole?
Because this shithole's where the Tutter is. And the Tutter's got info on Brotherhood movements. If we're heading to Grand Central, we need to know which way their patrols swing.
Martin let out a hollow laugh between coughs.
Can't believe I'll be seeing that moaning bastard again.
Dean Prime shot him a look.
Wait, you know him well?
Martin nodded, wiping blood from his chin.
Aye, he was once called Mark, my old manager at the co-op. Still thinks he is that manager, like the world never went to shit.
Wasteland Dean smirked.
Yeah, silly bald bastard keeps that store in tip-top shape. Still thinks he's getting an audit any day now. So like I told you earlier, don't touch shit, otherwise he'll blow your dick clean off.
Dean Prime frowned.
Your wasteland's really got a thing for dicks.
They pushed deeper into the market. Scav merchants hawked scrap, cages rattled with half-dead animals, and fires burned in oil drums. Then she appeared. A short, blonde-haired girl with wild eyes and cracked lips darted straight at Dean Prime, almost tripping over her own boots.
Yo, mister, got any scratch cards? I'll suck your dick for a scratch and sniff.
Dean Prime froze, staring at her with a mixture of disbelief and disgust. He knew he was a top geezer. He could pull almost any lady if he wanted, but this was a new level of mental.
Nah, I'm good, love.
She bolted off, shrieking at someone else for a cigarette butt. Dean Prime blinked after her.
What the fuck was that?
Wasteland Dean snorted.
That was Jo. Wild as they come, all she wants is a bit of scratch card dust to sniff. Proper mental, really, but you missed out on a good humdingly, mate.
Dean Prime shook his head.
If that's a humdingly, I'll pass.
Finally, they reached the east side of Blitz Crate, where a small building stood almost orderly. The walls were scrubbed, the windows patched neatly, the floor swept. A crooked sign still hung above the door, faintly legible through layers of rust. Co-op food, honest value every day. This was the Tutter's store, and inside, Mark still ruled. The door creaked open, and immediately Dean Prime felt off. Unlike the chaos outside, the Tutter's store was immaculate. Shelves lined neatly, every tin of beans facing forward, floor swept. Old co-op signage hung on the wall like holy scripture. Behind the counter, a bald man in a scorched but carefully buttoned co-op shirt was scribbling on a cracked clipboard. His glasses were taped at the bridge, his tie frayed, but his posture screamed, "Manager on a power trip." He looked up, suspicious.
Customers, finally. But let's be clear. This is not a charity. This is a co-op store, and all procedures must be followed.
Wasteland Dean smirked.
Still pretending the apocalypse was just a late delivery, eh, Tutter?
Mark sniffed, adjusting his cracked glasses.
Pretending? No. Maintaining standards, unlike certain individuals.
Tutter's eyes, the ash and blood caked on Wasteland Dean.
There's still a chance of an inspection. We must be ready.
Dean Prime raised a brow.
Mate, the world's ended. No one's auditing shit.
Language, this is a family co-op.
Dean Prime glanced around at the dusty shelves of beans and dog food.
Yeah, looks real family-friendly. What aisle's the cholera on?
A weak laugh came from Martin, who stepped forward, coughing. His face lit faintly with recognition.
Mark! Jesus Christ, you're still at it.
Mark squinted, leaning forward.
Martin, from late shift, always late, complained about the rota. Uniform untucked.
Martin wheezed, smiling.
That's me.
Mark straightened like he'd caught a thief.
Ex-employees are not entitled to staff discount once they've left the company.
Martin coughed out a laugh. Yeah, that's real fucking problem here, isn't it? Ex-employee, the world fucking ended.
From the corner came a muffled crunch. A man sat hunched on an old milk crate, chewing a cheese sandwich with salt and vinegar crisps stuffed inside. Coins were spread across the table in front of him. Dull coppers, old 50s, a battered commemorative quid. His lips moved constantly, muttering half-words, stuttering nonsense, eyes fixed on his collection.
Ignore him, that's Harry. Been here forever. All he does is mumble, eat crisp buddies and count his bloody coins. Utter twat.
Dean Prime watched Harry carefully.
That one dangerous? Only to cheese and crisps.
Harry looked up suddenly, blinking like a mole. Harry mumbling, stuttering through his sandwich.
It's not your box, no. 50 pence shiny in it.
Then he went right back to muttering and stacking his coins into neat towers, mayonnaise dripping onto the lot. Dean Prime shook his head.
This place is mental.
Wasteland Dean turned back to Tutter, voice firm.
We need info. Brotherhood movements. Where have they been sniffing?
Mark tapped his clipboard, tutting.
Information is valuable. Normally, I'd require membership card details or proof of purchase.
Dean Prime groaned.
What is this co-op cosplay?
Tutter, don't dick about. Martin's dying. We need the quickest way to Grand Central.
Mark hesitated. His eyes flicked to Martin, coughing into his sleeve, the clipboard lowered. For a heartbeat, the manager act faltered. Finally, he sighed.
Fine, Brotherhood patrols have been moving east. Last sighting 3 days ago, near the Hudson line. If you're set on Grand Central, the subway tunnels at 42nd will get you close. Dangerous, but fewer checkpoints.
Dean Prime tilted his head.
That's it? Not gonna make us sign a receipt, sign up for club card point or some shit?
Mark stiffened.
There's a customer feedback form.
Dean Prime laughed bitterly.
Of course there is.
Martin gave Mark a small nod.
Thanks, Mark, for once.
But Mark had already turned away, muttering about stock rotation. Harry let out a sudden bark of laughter at a shiny coin, then coughed crumbs onto the floor. The trio left, blitz crates noise washing over them again. They had a direction now. East. Hudson Line. Brotherhood country. The subway reeked of rust, mould and burnt gunpowder. Torchlight flickered off graffiti-scrawled walls, broken tracks vanishing into darkness. At the far end stood the Brotherhood's makeshift stronghold, sandbags, welded doors, banners painted with their crude insignia. Guard posts manned by men in scavenged armour. At the centre, 2 figures waited. Baz, barrel-chested, scarred, head shaved to a sheen, grin carved like a butcher's knife. And beside him, General Pinston, an old bastard in a wheelchair fitted with bolted steel plates and mounted rifles, hands gloved, eyes sharp and cold. Baz stepped forward, arms out like a preacher.
Well, well, if it ain't the fucking ash rat himself.
Wasteland Dean spat at the floor, machete in hand. Dean Prime stepped up, empty hands raised, voice steady.
We're not here to start shit. I just need one thing. A part. Something to repair this.
He reached into his pack and carefully pulled out the dimensional hopper. Its casing was scorched, wires frayed, still sparking faintly with unstable energy. The Brotherhood soldiers shifted immediately, eyes widening. A low murmur rippled through them. Baz's grin stretched wider.
Well, would you look at that shiny little toy in it?
Pinston's chair whirred forward, his eyes narrowing. Not just a toy, that's advanced, beyond anything left in this ash heap. It belongs to the Brotherhood. Dean Prime tightened his grip, keeping it close to his chest.
No, this isn't yours. I just need the parts to fix it. Then I'll be gone. You'll never see me again.
Baz tilted his head, laughing low.
You hear him, Pinston. He thinks he can just walk in here and wave something like that around, then walk out.
Pinston's eyes gleamed like steel. That device belongs in our vault, under our control, not in the hands of some drifter. Dean Prime's jaw set.
I don't care about your vault. I don't care about your empire of scrap. This is mine.
Baz's grin vanished, replaced with a cold sneer. The first Brotherhood raider raised his rifle. Gunfire erupts. Chaos. Dean Prime dove for cover, clutching the hopper, grabbing a fallen pistol in his other hand. Bullets tore through sandbags and echoed off the tunnel walls. Wasteland Dean roared, swinging his machete like a man possessed. He carved through a soldier, then another, blood splattering across the cracked tiles. Pinston's chair-mounted rifles chattered, spraying lead. Dean Prime returned fire, his shot sparking off Pinston's armor plating. He ducked, rolled, came up shooting again. Martin, weak and shaking, tried to crawl behind cover, but a stray round tore through his chest. He gasped, choking, blood staining his shirt.
Dean, my love.
Wasteland Dean froze, his machete dripped. He saw Martin collapse, saw his chest seize and falter. Something inside him broke.
Martin!
He charged, ignoring the bullets. He ripped a raider's gun free, turned it on Pinston. Bullets slammed into the old bastard's chest, shattering his plated armor. Pinston coughed blood, his wheelchair jerking back before exploding in sparks. Baz lunged, a machete of his own flashing. Wasteland Dean met him, steel against steel. The fight was savage, desperate, blood spraying across the tunnel walls. With a guttural roar, Wasteland Dean rammed Baz's head into a concrete pillar until his skull cracked like rotten fruit. Silence fell, broken only by Wasteland Dean's ragged breathing. He dropped Baz's limp body, falling to his knees beside Martin. Martin was still, eyes glassy. Wasteland Dean clutched him tight, sobbing against his chest, covered in his blood. Dean Prime stepped closer, hopper clutched in one hand, weapon in the other. His voice was low, heavy.
I'm sorry, mate. I lost a Martin, too.
Dean Prime searched the corpses of Baz and Pinston, finding the missing components, wires, power cells, casing, enough to repair the hopper. He returned to Wasteland Dean, crouching.
It's fixed now. I can take you out, away from this shithole.
Wasteland Dean finally looked up. His face was hollow, streaked with ash and tears. He shook his head.
Not without him, but he's gone. I'll stick around, wander this waste. It's all I've got left.
Dean Prime nodded slowly. No more words. He stepped back, clutched the hopper, and activated it.
Get me the fuck out of here.
The wasteland blurred, the ruins of the Brotherhood stronghold dissolving into white-hot light. His chest caved in with pressure, his bones stretching like rubber, then... thud! Dean Prime crashed hard onto cold tile flooring. His gun skittered across the room with a metallic clank. He rolled onto his side, coughing, the hopper still hissing in his grip. When his vision cleared, he realized he wasn't in rubble or ash anymore. He was in a lab. Sterile white walls, stainless steel counters, shelves of labelled vials glowing faintly. Screens blinked with endless streams of green code. It smelled like disinfectant and burnt ozone, and in the corner, frozen mid-step, was a man, a frail, nervous-looking figure in a stained lab coat, hair thinning, glasses cracked at the edge. His hands shook around a clipboard. The man's face went pale. His mouth opened, but no words came out at first. Just a rasp of disbelief.
You shouldn't be here.
Join us to continue the adventures by hitting subscribe. If you enjoyed our exploration, give us a like and share your thoughts in the comments below.